You talk about like starting to record an album in 2009 that you didn't finish until 2017. And then you talk about like something that you started recording last summer that you're going to be releasing basically this summer.
Yeah.
It kills me to wait like, okay, we recorded this on January 22nd and we're releasing it April.
Good for you.
It kills me to wait that long to release it.
Well, yeah, I'm with you there. I mean, Space Lab did that too.
It took like 4 years, 3 years.
It took a long time for us to get that together.
First few things that we recorded it as soon as we had a mix back that we were happy with. It was on Bandcamp. We put it on Facebook and said, download it.
You know,
But the past couple of things, we've actually taken our time releasing them, and I think it's a little bit more rewarding that way, but it's tough.
Well, I gotta say, man, that tape, because I sat here and dubbed 50 of them. That thing sounds great. It sounds the way I would want a record to sound.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, Brandon does a good job recording it, and I think that we just wrote some really good songs.
Yeah.
We recorded that CD last year. We were already writing these songs, or starting to work on these songs, and I was like, man, this CD's going to be good. I can't wait till we record our next thing.
Well, it's the thing. It sounded like a band.
Yeah.
And that's just like that eerie choir stuff that you guys got coming out. I remember when you first played it to me, I was like, this sounds like a band. It doesn't sound like some dudes that came in and overdubbed some tracks.
Yeah.
You know, it sounds like a band that's been playing together.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of my, I don't listen to a lot of new music. Like I just don't, because I'm still catching up with old music. But a lot of new music that I hear doesn't sound like a band.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like a band that's been out playing shows together and getting it down. And
well, I appreciate
both of these things that y'all just did do, and that's awesome.
I appreciate that, because I mean, we've been together for it'll be 6 years.
Jesus, really?
In April.
See, that's another thing.
I mean, me and Eric have been playing together for 28 years now.
And the older we get, man, like time just it just shrinks, man.
Yeah.
6 years is 6 months.
Yeah.
You know?
So
remember that, kids.
But it makes me feel good to hear that, because I feel like that makes me feel like I'm a real musician.
Oh yeah, no,
I used to always say that I'm not a musician. I play a guitar.
That's what I always say.
I'm not a musician.
Well, people would ask like, "Oh, you play bass?" Like, no, I own a bass.
Yeah.
You know, like, I own a guitar.
I'm not a bassist. I play bass.
Yeah.
But now I actually like hearing things like that make me feel like, oh, I can call myself a bassist. Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, especially like, I was there with you in 1991.
Yeah.
And then I hear the stuff that you're doing now. It's like, holy shit, man, this guy really learned to play the bass. Like, you're not just like following the guitar player or whatever. It's like, this guy's playing some bass.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I don't know, you learned a long time ago, but I'm just now catching up.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, it just taken this long. I mean, honestly, because even with the accents I played, I was a bassist then too.
Right.
But it's taken this long for me to finally feel extremely comfortable with what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And feel like I really know what I'm doing. And like I said, that musician term, I didn't apply that to myself until about a year ago.
Sure. That's awesome.
And about a year ago, I started to realize that, hey, I actually do know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it shows, like you said, in the music.
Oh, yeah, totally.
And it's not me. It's not just me. It's Ben and it's Eric.
Oh, yeah.
Because Eric continues to, and you've seen Eric at his worst. I've seen Eric at his worst.
Yeah.
Eric continues to just impress me and inspire me every day with what he does these days. Because even back then, I knew he had it in him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But,
man, those early days in Popes on Dope with him banging out those drums, which those drums are in my basement. I don't know if you noticed them earlier, but that's...
I didn't pay attention. But
yeah, those are the Eric Huskins Popes on Dope drums down in my basement, and they will someday be in the Gastonia Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But, yeah, man, I mean, going from that, like, but you knew, like, there was something there. You know? Yeah. I mean, we all wanted to do something with music creatively.
But we had to find it. We had to find it, love it, and then embrace it. And then, and then learn how to actually do the things that we wanted to do.
Sure.
I mean, I said one time that anybody can pick up a bass and play a bass.
Yeah.
I mean, you can,
and they should.
You can follow along.
Yeah.
If you can follow instructions, you should be able to pick up a bass and be able to hit a couple of notes.
Yeah.
And make it sound like something.
And kids listening, you should do that.
Yeah.
Don't worry about, becoming great as Michael.
Because until you do that, I won't say great, but until you do that and you pick it up and you pluck out those couple of notes, you know, you have to take it to another level.
Yeah.
In order to be, I don't know.
Making that happen is a hard process, though, you know.
It is.
But sometimes even like mentally, getting past that mental block of, man, I'm not a musician.
I'm not a
musician. I play an instrument.
Well, that's the whole thing about punk rock. To me, it was like, you know, I never thought, like I remember in the talent show early on when, I don't know if you played them, but Greg and them, and they were doing a Metallica song. And it was like, and they were like, we want you to sing. And I was like, man, I don't know. I just can't. I can't do it. I can't do it.
That was, I think, me and Greg and Dathan.
Yeah.
I can't remember who else it was, but I played guitar. It was From the Bell Tolls, and that was before Style and Johnny Appleseed.
Oh, yeah.
That was actually the very first song I learned from the beginning to end.
And I wanted to do it, man.
Guitar.
I wanted to do it, but I just couldn't see myself doing it. But by the next year, it was like, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can just get up there and do it.
Yeah.
I think, you know, I couldn't do it because it was Metallica, and that was something else. But then I discovered punk rock, and it was like, oh.
Yeah.
I can do it through this lens or whatever, you know.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. Punk rock told you that anyone could do it.
Yeah. And then you learn through punk rock that, you know, just because it's punk rock doesn't mean it's shitty. You know?
No, not at all.
I mean, because you think about, like, Mike Watt, and just, like, I'm just now figuring out how to play bass like Mike Watt.
Yeah.
And,
well, I mean, even that first Fear record.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys are amazing musicians.
Oh, there's a lot of that early stuff. Even I think about, like, the Germs and how a lot of people use them as the example of, like, a crappy punk rock band. It's like, no, man, they were great.
They were great.
They were so good.
Their live, I listened to that live show, their last one, earlier before you got here, and it's...
Yeah, because I wanted to listen to it when I got here.
Yeah. And
you said you'd already listened to it, and I decided to...
Yeah, they're all over the place, and, you know, they're not playing together, but, you know, it comes through.
Yeah, and then Pat Smear doing what he does today.
Sure.
It just shows that
Which is
you
amazing.
have to... It all comes from somewhere.
You just got to go for it.
And whether it starts with punk rock or wherever, you know, just embrace it and just fucking do the thing. That's the thing I keep saying over and over with this podcast. Just do the thing.
Well,
just do it.
So after me and you did that one at Von Clarken,
Mm-hmm.
like I came back home and was really inspired. Like, I have to finish these projects that I started.
Yeah.
And I finished the tape that Joe and I have been working on for years, you know, with music and then her photographs. You know, so that should be coming out. And I'm just like, I have to finish all these projects. I want to do these things. I finished doing you guys tape. Like, I want to do things that are going to come out.
Mm.
You know, I want to make things. So make things, kids.
Yeah, and I even remember, like, back in the mid '90s when the punk rock explosion happened, and Charlotte had a little bit of a scene.
Mm-hmm.
There were even bands that came out of all these fans that came out to shows. All of a sudden, decided we're going to do this too. And they weren't great, but they were fun. And I was so glad they did it.
Oh, man, fun is better than great.
Yeah.
You know, for that night.
Exactly.
You know?
And it's just, more people just need to just do the thing.
Yeah, I'd rather see a fun band than a great band.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. That's kind of the way I felt about recording and all that. Like, I knew how to play guitar. I learned kind of early that, you know, when Two Headed Dog started putting out things way back when, I wanted to, you know, make something legit, but I didn't have the resources other than a 4-track.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't really care if it sounded professional or polished or any of that. Like, let's just get this down, and between these, you know, 2 EQ knobs, I think I can make this sound pretty good. And God, we had the worst equipment ever. We had, you know, Radio Shack mics that.
Oh yeah, no, we had the same stuff.
Had the 1/4-inch plug and the switch,
Yeah.
you know. But
Yeah.
that, you know, we recorded several bands. Like, they would hear what we did. Like,
One of those right here.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, well, we want to, you know, my buddy Charles and I, we want to record with you. Like, cool. We'll come on over. It'll be $50. I don't know why we thought $50 we could charge somebody that.
Yeah.
We go over there and they're like, they look at our box of stuff. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm like, but you know, you're going to get something maybe that sounds pretty good out of this. And it was just a matter of doing it. You know, I wasn't impressing anybody with my box of microphones, but I felt like we got something good out of everything we recorded.
Yeah.
And And with this, between actually the Two-Headed Dog and the Shake tapes were both like that. We did some kind of project out of just sheer gumption. That was like Tex Bengali. That Al Henderson and those guys, I think they recognized that more than anybody, and that was the kind of the perfect marriage of like, well, here's my recording skills and your songwriting skills. And that turned into a good project, and it kind of branched outwards. So there's something to be said. Just go ahead and go on for the plan you've got in mind.
Go for what you know, man.
I think the Space Lab was like that. We didn't know. I don't feel like we totally knew what we were doing. But...
Well, that 8-track, I remember we set it up and we were recording, and then I remember learning like, oh wait, you're supposed to set like reference tones at the beginning and all this. And we're like, nope.
Like, you are, but we
didn't do any of that.
We didn't do any of that. Matt Cowell talked about that. He's like, I've got the reference tone tapes. Like, right? Tails out. Remember Tails Out?
Yes,
We're supposed to do these Tails Out. Like,
yeah, I don't know, man. Here, just work with
Here
it.
they are. This is the other reel, and this is this reel, and go for it.
But I think that's important too, like documenting.
Documenting is, and yes, documenting is...
It's so easy now. Like back in the day, it was 4-track and Radio Shack microphones and those SGA tapes. We didn't know what we were doing, but God damn it, I'm glad that we did it.
Oh, I go back and listen to those, and for what we did and for what we knew at the time, that's good songs.
Yeah.
I can still listen to that stuff and enjoy it.
I'm glad that it's there and we have a recording of it, and
I think that's what all of our bands do. Who's going to listen to the Little Weekend record 10 years from now? I don't know. I don't know how many people have, but we really worked pretty hard on this stuff, and we believe in it, and it's well documented. And when some of my family are like, well, what are you doing this for? Like, you guys going to LA yet? Like, what are you talking about?
It's art.
This is what we do. This is just what we do. This is art.
It's art.
And it's documenting. Documenting your life in a lot of ways. That's what it is, and it's kind of hard to throw a spin on that for some people, but then a lot of people get it.
Don't matter.
So I like to think that at some point somebody would say, "Hey, look what these cats are doing."
Well, we were talking about that earlier. We were talking about everything now being released digitally, and I like to have a physical copy, because some kid may find it in a thrift store in 10 years and be like, "Whoa, what is this?" And he's not going to run across that.
You might not
online.
Yeah.
He may find your record or CD or tape in a thrift store 10 years from now, and it may change his life. May not. That's fine.
But it's out there.
It's out there, man. A physical copy in your hand.
I mean,
that's something.
It is definitely something. I do think it's changed a little bit, though. I do, but it's kind of like that band Wicked Lady. My find from the last 5 years.
I mean, it is awesome that you can find things easily, but it's also awesome that 10 years from now you're not it's going to be harder to just stumble across something.
Yeah, I mean, how many people are going to randomly just go through Bandcamp and try to find random bands?
Right.
But you're running across something random at a thrift store, like you said.
With a great cover.
Yeah.
I mean, like
with a naked lady on a bike.
Like you finding that 134 cassette at a thrift store.
I did.
I mean, you already knew about that.
Obviously. It was in 2 pieces. I had to go back. I found the
you found
the label.
You found a piece of history that's connected to all of us.
Yeah. I got to find that and show it to you later. It's down there somewhere.